Good Sunday morning to everybody. Live from the corner of Walk and Don't Walk. It's all Lacrosse live. And I'm Gary Groob in Toronto. With me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. Shawn, how are you?
You got me up bright and early out here. Pretty good. Thanks, Gary.
I wouldn't think of it any other way. It just isn't a Sunday without being, Shawn up at the crack of dawn. And over in Connecticut, I have Muffler Mike. Mike, how are you?
Tired. I had quite the busy day yesterday. Moved my daughter into school for her freshman year. So she
sounds like an expensive endeavor.
Yeah, she's going to Endicott College in Beverly, Mass, a little bit north of Boston. Go Gulls. And as you can see, they have not only a men's but a women's lacrosse team, and both teams they play in NCAA Division III Conference in New England. They both won the conference last year. So
nice
to them.
We have a busy show because we have all the tournaments in full swing or just ended. We have a Minto Cup report for you. We have Founders Cup. We have the President's Cup starting today. We have a WLA winner. We have an MSL series that looks like it's actually become a series now, not just a beatdown. So we have lots to get into, as well as PLL playoffs. And we have, we're down to our final four now. So it's going to get even more exciting. But before we get rolling on any of that, just a reminder to everybody that we are live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and at times Instagram Live. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons. Always share. Please enjoy our affiliates across the Streampunk Entertainment Network, which includes Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, CFL shows, lots of soccer shows as well. And with the NFL coming up, there's going to be a lot of things on that also. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the shows on YouTube, whether it be at Streampunk Sports, Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, or, of course, All Across all the time. And please, if you're on All Across all the time, first off, subscribe. Secondly, please tell people about it so they can subscribe. Because what are you going to find on there? Not just our shows, but you're going to find interviews. You're going to find retro games. You're going to find fights. You're going to find press conferences. You're going to find many things that we're not able to give you on the regular network. And remember, you can stay up to date by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. Also a reminder that the show is brought to you by 60, which is Canada's newest and most exciting sports and teamwear brand, delivering top quality uniforms and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. Don't forget to add Lax Talk 10 for a 10% discount on your order. Now, how do you get there, you ask? First off, you can use the QR code, which is on our screen. Secondly, you can go to sweet_60 on Instagram, or you can email them directly at info.sweet60@gmail.com, or go right to their website at sweet60.ca/60. All righty. Well, guys, as you've seen off the top of the show, we have a Minto Cup winner. Dave is with us. Dave, how are you? Glad you could get up early.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
But we have a Minto Cup winner, and the winner happens to be a back-to-back winner, being at the Coquitlam Adnax. And congratulations to them. And, it's funny. As the series went along, they got stronger. Unfortunately for Orangeville, who they beat in the final, 2-0, they peaked at the first game. They beat Coquitlam 12-5 in game 1 of the round robin. And they never really lived up to where they were from that point. They beat Calgary 6-3 in their second game. They actually lost to St. Catharines in their third game. And because they did so well in the first game, the aggregate goals had them in first place. They almost wound up in the semifinals because of losing, because you had all 3 of the 4 teams tied at 2-1 in records. So it came down to goal differential. But what can you say that hasn't already been said about Cody Molosky?
Yeah.
This guy is just absolutely incredible as a player, as a juggernaut. He was the MVP of the tournament, and man, was he just exceptional. These two games were down to the wire, both of them. The first game finished 7-5, and you know the funny thing is the most unsung play of this tournament was an empty net goal of all things by Nathan Chalmers, because it was a 1-goal game. It was 6-5 deep in Coquitlam's end, and of course Orangeville is going to press. The pass was to Jack Cask, and the goalie fired it basically 200 feet down the floor, a perfect strike to Cody Molosky, who found Nathan Chalmers at the side of the net, who put it into the empty net. And with 14 seconds left, that was all she wrote. It was 7-5 for a final. But in that situation, to have a perfect strike down the floor, wow. By the way, he was the player of the game for Coquitlam in game one, because he also made something like 50 saves in the game. It was insane. 47 saves, sorry. So he had himself a night. But to Orangeville's credit, they hung in there all the way with Coquitlam, and that game could have gone either way, 7-5 in a defensive struggle. Game two was a lot different, and it was, again, it was a 1-goal game. The game finished 11-10 for Coquitlam. But this game was odd. Coquitlam got up 3-1, and it really looked like they were going to, Orangeville came back in the second. They had a 4-goal run to start the second period. But Ryan Colsey, he scored 5 goals in this game for Coquitlam. He was the star of this show. And he put them on their back in the second when things were going Orangeville's way, scored a pair, and we were tied 6-6 heading into the third period. In the third period, once again, Orangeville comes up with 2 quick goals in the first 3 minutes. Max Kruger and Trey Deer, your scorers, scoring. Imagine that. But Aiden McDonald comes back, gets them within 1. Dylan Sanderson, who was the player of the game for Orangeville in game 2, scores off a Vincent Offriel pass. And again, it's a 2-goal lead. Now, you should recognize these next couple of names that are going to tie this game. Ryan Colsey and then Cody Molosky. Bang, bang, inside a minute and a half, and we are tied again. But Coquitlam keeps going. Parker Kennedy scores with about 9 minutes left. And then on the power play with just over 4 minutes left in the game, Nathan Chalmers scores, and it's a 2-goal lead. Dylan Sanderson comes back and brings Orangeville within a goal with 3:41 left in the game. Step in Jack Cask, who was not going to let anything by him. And that's all she wrote. And Coquitlam wins this game 11-10, the series 2-0, and they are now back-to-back Minto Cup champions. Congratulations to Coquitlam, and congratulations to Orangeville, who had a great showing in this tournament overall. And a lot of these guys we're going to see in the NLL real soon.
I got a feel for Orangeville.
Yeah.
You've lost back-to-back Minto Cups, and the year before that, you should have probably been in the Minto Cup, but you ran into a red-hot Burlington team.
Absolutely. Good morning, Eduardo. Thank you for joining us early in the morning.
Eduardo, thanks for tuning in.
Eduardo.
And thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. And good morning to everybody else as well. And without further ado, I'm going to bring the sunshine of the show onto the show. Mr. Happ.
Is that a dog biscuit?
That's your dog biscuit. Feel, boy, feel.
It looks like a snickerdoodle, but I don't know. I think the amount of crude protein in there is a little higher than what you should be consuming there.
I just want to just before we jump into PLL, I do want to jump into one quick thing, and that is that we had the World Lacrosse Under-20 Championships as well, and for the first time ever, the Canadian men team won the gold medal in an absolutely stunning game with the silver medal winning U.S. team, holding on to win 6-5. They were up 4-1, and the U.S. had this big push back. But the MVP of this series and the tournament was the Canadian goalie, who is now what legends are made of, Grayson Manning, who in that last minute made a couple of huge saves, including one with about 2 seconds left on the clock to secure the gold medal for Canada. This all happened while most of us were sleeping last night. So congratulations to Team Canada. We should give recognition also to the bronze medal Australian team. And if we look very quickly, the final standings, you're going to see some teams that normally aren't in the top 10. Mexico, Ireland, Jamaica, all on the way up. Puerto Rico, Japan, I expect them to be in that first division come World Championships in 27. It's just they're that good a team. But to see Kenya in there, Chinese Taipei, Hong Kong, China, all these places, it's wonderful to see.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So congratulations to all of them. And a little bit more news while we're at it. Jeff Teat, who has been a coach over at the Hill Academy, is now the head coach of Prep Lacrosse, to continue the tradition of that's championship and successful program. So congratulations, Jeff.
Yep.
Pat, talk to me.
Well, first of all, happy birthday there. I see the hair's done right. You got the taco meat hanging out a little bit. You're feeling a little groovy there. I'm liking it. You know what I mean? No. I mean, listen. Needless to say, this Philadelphia Water Dogs team, I was sweating bullets. I thought this was going to be the previous regime, and the bye week that this team had was perfect.
Yeah,
beat it, you snail. So, no, I mean, the bye week was perfect for this team. This was a restart, a refresh. Even when this team went up, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was waiting for, all right, when's Maryland going to get a hold of some momentum? When's Bill Terry not going to call the timeout to slow down their momentum? When's this going to hit, like I said, when's this going to hit the floor, right? And no, it didn't. Every time they got a lead, like I said, Maryland came back with a little bit of a fight, but needless to say, Karen McCardle being your X factor, 6 goals. You get an 8-point game you get a balanced game from Michael Sowers for 4 goals, 4 assists. CJ Kurtz, to me, had the goal of the night, being defended by someone who was bigger and stronger and more, and he went around his back shoulder with a backwards goal. It was absolutely sick.
Yeah, that's not just anyone. That's former Defensive Player of the Year, Matt Dunn. So
right. So I mean, listen, that was nasty. The problem I had, though, it was nice to see a 3-headed monster really, put a game together. But again, no secondary scoring, nothing from the outside, and this is all good. This is a good celebration, and they, but now to face a juggernaut of a Atlas team, you're going to need to do what you just did, but this time you can't afford to take your foot off the gas pedal. You're going to have to keep that team off balance. You're going to have to shoot from the outside. And on paper, to me, they don't match up nowhere near with New York. But again, that's looking down for next week. Right now, this is a celebration of a win. I didn't think this team had it in them, but no, they walked out with the W.
Absolutely. What do you guys think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, hey, we see in the whole history of the PLL, we've seen teams turn it up at playoff time that we didn't expect to. So so this is definitely no exception. To me, the big win, you know, at the end, ground balls ended up being 38-34 in favor of the Water Dogs, but at one point it was something like 16-6 through about a quarter and a half, and they were winning all the 50-50 battles. And I mean, obviously they needed every goal. You know, another big one that stood out to me was right in front of the crease. You had Kieran McArdle picking up a loose ball that that someone else had wedged loose from a Whipsnakes defender, and you saw that time and again, even on face-offs. Joe Nardella won; he'd get dispossessed. You know, other guys winning ground balls would get dispossessed, you know, almost immediately. So a little bit of a different tactic at the dot for the Water Dogs, and it seemed to pay off for them.
Absolutely.
It did. I mean, you saw it. I mean, I will give Philly that part of that portion of credit. Every time they were beating the one-on-one defenders, as far as creating separation, as far as finding ways to get down low, beating up the body. Kieran McCarr, like I said, just being the X factor, just trying to find little holes in the Maryland's defense, and took full advantage of it, and really exploiting it and finding the back of the net. So again, credit to this team.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think there were seven Water Dogs players, 7 or 8 Water Dogs players had a caused turnover, and I think Kenny Brower, Marcus Hudgens, each had a pair of caused turnovers. So, you know, everyone was doing their job, and I believe Ben Randall and Ben Ware, neither of them managed to cause a turnover in the game,
Mm-hmm.
but the defense still thrived. So they changed
Well, they
something
set a
up.
record too, the Water Dogs, with Sowers, McCardle, and Kirst all having at least 4 goals each in the game.
First
That's
time
never
that's
been done
ever
before.
happened. So
That's pretty
impressive.
astounding. That's when, again, what I always talk about, when the guys who are supposed to score, good things happen. Now, maybe they can wake Jack Hanna up a little bit, because he seems to be MIA. As Pat would say, we're going to put his face on a milk carton soon. But
You know, it's funny because again, those guys were stepping up. You know, when CJ Kurse wasn't around. Now I feel like CJ Kurse came into play. He got into a rhythm. They figured where to plug and play him at. And I feel like the Jack Hanners, the Taylors, they kind of took it into a back seat, a secondary scoring. And it's just like I said, this is a good win. Your three, the guys who, like you just said, Gary, your playmakers got theirs, but to beat that New York team that you're going to face on Labor Day, you're going to need all systems go. You're going to need everybody to check boxes. Jimmy Fairhill's, Zach Curry's. You're going to have to shoot from the outside if you're going to have any way possible of beating that New York squad.
Yeah, because I was going to say that's one thing that kind of stood out to me is you kind of saw that Philadelphia goal scoring just kind of taper off as the game went, and I just feel like a team like Atlas, as you mentioned, Pat, you just can't take your foot off the pedal, right? So that's something that kind of just stuck out to me.
No, you're right, Shawn. It's just going to look, and I hope Bill Tierney learns his lesson from 2 weeks ago when facing that New York Atlas team. Again, little momentum went to New York's way, and that's all it took for guys like Schellenberger, Jeff T. I mean, Capesable. I mean, those guys, they have scoring options, and it doesn't have to be their playmakers. Like you saw, one thing about Philly yesterday, they kept TJ Malone off the scoreboard yesterday. Great. It was really Aiden Carroll and Rob Parnell. I mean, that was pretty much Maryland's only scoring options. You know, if they could keep, Schellenberger off the scoreboard and Jeff Teat, that's still going to be an issue because New York's going to look like, all right, we still have plenty of scoring options. It's okay.
yeah, I wonder because they have to be at their totally best effort if they have any hope of getting by the Atlas.
They do.
Par-
They
par-
do.
par-
And
Well,
100%.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think Pat's right. I mean, the scoring is gonna need to be more balanced. We got to see some goals out of Connor Kelly, Hannah, Thomas McConvey. You know, if Zach
Right.
Critter can
Yeah.
get one off a face off or something. And hey, let's get some 2-pointers. Let's get some 2-point shots here.
But and really, and if you look at this game, okay, you're thinking, well, Philly's got the home field advantage. Not so fast, because who treats Philly like a home game? Travis Batiste, who knows Philly very well. Who's won championships in Philly? Liam Enterman, and when he was with Notre Dame. So this is going to, playing in Philly, it might be their best time to play ball. You know what I'm saying? Might be the best time for them to play lacrosse.
Mhm. Yep.
But it is an edge for
Yeah.
Philly, so
Absolutely.
Water Dogs will be in attendance at Subaru Park on Labor Day. So
Oh, this dog will be. This dog will definitely be down there. I'll be barking. Anyway, I'm going to get in there. This dog's going to get in the dog house.
excellent.
Excellent. We had another game, and that, of course, was California and Carolina. This was an odd one, Mike. This one, I really thought that Carolina had it in the bag.
Yeah, they had a decent lead, and I don't know what happened. A little reversal of fortunes from the second quarter to the third quarter. I mean, they took an 8-5 halftime lead and then got outscored 6-3 in the third by the Redwoods, and then hey, I mean, how many times have we talked about it? And the Water Dogs actually avoided it by getting the goals that they had in their in the fourth quarter. But they held the Chaos to 1 goal in the fourth quarter. So yet another game where an offense goes silent in the fourth. They win 14-12, and they'll be advancing to play the Outlaws in the Western final, if you will.
I got to chime in, too.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, because I'm taking the Redwoods to beat the Outlaws. I'm going with the Redwoods. You want to know why? Because this is 2 weeks. The Denver Outlaws haven't touched the ball. They haven't seen any live action. And then last night, here they are at Subaru Park, playing with the Union, banging on drums, having themselves a good old time here in Philly, taking this as taking their opponent. This is going to be like Rocky 3, right? With Rocky. Thought Clover Lane was just going to be another phony contender, and they're going to look past them. And they start playing the song. They're not hungry like this Redwoods team. It's all another beast when you get into playoff mode. So I'm going to go with the Redwoods right off the bat.
No, and that's a great point. The fact that the Outlaws haven't played in 2-3 weeks now,
Yeah.
almost a
Mhm.
month. Like, that's going to be a factor, no doubt.
I love that Pat brings up the Rocky idea.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not taking us to the steps.
Oh, that's going to be my next. If they get past New York, that's going to be the next week's show. I'll be doing a show live from.
We're gonna get the
the
TikTok
museum.
live from the steps.
Yes.
Well, at least beside the steps where they decided to finally place the statue, right? But
And then listen, and if they win the whole thing, I'm going up the steps naked. That's gonna be.
my.
Gary, you only get scarred. Gary, you only get scarred. You only get scarred for like a half hour, then it's over. You know what I mean?
I guess there's some things you just can't unsee. Like,
Yeah.
wow. I'll be at the President's Cup later, and I'll just be
Puking.
What's wrong with him? It was Bernhard syndrome. Nice, but again, a weekend where PLL doesn't disappoint, right?
No,
Mhm.
definitely not. Big scores for the Redwoods. Andrew McAdory, 4 goals, including that questionable one at the end there, where he got leveled by Blaze in the crease. Chris Cavanaugh with a hat trick. Charlie Bertrand had a pair of goals. Ryder Garnsey had a pair of assists. You got goals from Dylan Malloy, Aiden Denenza, TD Erlin. And Erlin 14 of 28 at the dot, so 50%. Chase Erlin, I mean, 18 saves, and I'll be up front with my pick'ems. That really was what swung me toward picking Chaos. Was just I had to give the goalie edge to Blaze, and Chase Erlin he stepped up big time. I believe he made 7 or 9 of those 18 saves in the first quarter alone to pretty much keep things close. This was, a pretty tight game to start. For Chaos, you had Owen Hiltz with a pair of goals, pair of assists. Shane Knobloch had a hat trick. Jackson Eicher, a pair of goals. Sergio Perkovic, also a pair of goals, including a nice backhand that caught Erlin off guard. Adam Charlambides, Ray Dirth, and Cole Williams, who had just been signed this week, each with a goal. So Ignacio had a big game too at the dot, 15 to 26, 13 ground balls, and I think I need more than one hand to count the number of penalties that he drew during the game after winning faceoffs. So in that regard, Redwoods are lucky to have gotten away with the win, considering the number of penalties that they took. So
right.
I'm trying to get a quick tally of how many power play goals Chaos had. Looks like only 1. No, 2. Sorry about that. Yeah, they had 2 power play goals during the game, so.
Right.
But again, lack of 2-point goals. Just 1 2-point goal by the Redwoods, and they end up winning by 2. So.
And it sets it all up now for Denver versus California at noon Eastern in Philadelphia, September 1st. And New York, Philadelphia for the 3 p.m. showing again. And
that one, I believe, is on ESPN too.
Yeah.
So both of them are on ESPN Plus, but I believe the ESPN too.
I'm going to be in there covering it. Then you got a Phillies game on at pretty much at the same time. I'm going to be like an owl. My head's spinning around like a circle.
Well, just thank God that the Flyers aren't playing. Otherwise, you'd have to play baseball there.
Oh, my God. That's one of that stink bag team would win. But
or the Wings for now.
Yeah.
That actually segues me to the next point that I wanted to bring up here. And that is, of course, with the NLL and teams moving. And we had confirmation this week, and hoping to have Caden around, but he's working, and I've got a feeling he's trying to keep himself busy at the moment, so he doesn't have to think about the Albany Firewolves moving officially. The Wolves Den has now officially moved on over to Oshawa. Great for me. It's even closer than the Toronto team now to Toronto. Figure this one out.
Yeah.
All right. The team with the moniker Toronto is 70 kilometers
This wasn't
away
on
from
our
Toronto.
bingo card.
The Oshawa team with the Oshawa moniker of Albany is now 60 kilometers away from Toronto. So if my car goes on to the east way, I go to Oshawa. If my car goes to the west way, I go and watch the Toronto Hamilton team.
So wait a minute, Gary. Does this mean you're gonna have to trade in Phantom cards? Like, no more Rock. You might have to switch over to the Albany now. Are you going to take Caden's card away from him and switch Phantoms?
I play baseball around here. I've been doing the summer where I put 500 zillion miles on my cars.
Yeah.
I'm now doing this in the wintertime because now, if I go west, I've got Hamilton, Buffalo, Rochester. If I go east, I now have Oshawa, and I have Ottawa, all within my grasp. And when the Philadelphia team gets kicked out from Comcast next year, be ready for this one, because there's no plans for the Wings with the new Sixers and Flyers new arena. So where are they going? No, they're not going to Allentown to die a slow, miserable death in front of 200 people. They will wind up in Laval, because they have test marketed this place for a while. And when they wind up in Laval, that is along the 401 highway again, not far from Ottawa. So with the NLL looking at rivalries and with getting a Montreal or close to Montreal team, they now can get a Quebec City team because Quebec will never come in by themselves, but will come in to best what Montreal is doing every single time. So looking at that stretch of highway now, you have rivalries with Rochester, Buffalo, Hamilton, Toronto, Oshawa, Ottawa, Laval, Quebec, and Halifax. And that's all on the Canadian dollar side, with the exception of Rochester and Buffalo. So the costs are lower. And with a lot of the players from the Canadian side already, that's huge when you're looking at getting the players over there and per diems and all the other things that go along with it when they're living in market or in area. So is it a far stretch that I think that that's what's going to happen? No, it's not.
Not at this point.
No.
Is it? And again, for all the people talking about, well, why did they put it in such a small market like Oshawa? I got into it like last week. You have probably the hottest junior and minor lacrosse area in all of Ontario in that zone, with Whitby, Peterborough, Cobourg, Ajax, Pickering, Scarborough, all there. And all very, very fluid amateur lacrosse and junior lacrosse, both A and B in that area, all thriving. So for an 80,000 area household sector there in Clarington, do I think that they can fill a 7,500 seat arena downtown Oshawa? Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
Every single game.
Oh yeah.
Right now, all the people in Peterborough during this series with Six Nations, what are they talking about? When can I buy season tickets? That's 4,000 people that go to a Peterborough game. If even half of that go already, you have covered your costs.
Yep.
Is it a no-brainer? Yeah, I'm sorry to see it out of Albany because I think that's a good lacrosse market. However, in 2 kicks of the can in an aging arena, I don't think that's the answer long term. And neither did Oliver Marty, and neither did the league. So is it up to me? No. Now, is it up to me to start, helping market this so it is successful? Yes. That's our job.
All right, fellas, I'll catch us. I'm gonna
All right.
roll.
Right.
Have a great one.
Hey, guys.
That's the theory on all that. Just it's unfortunate that Albany has to lose a team. But remember, Brett Frude, when he came in, it wasn't about expansion like Sakavich, who wanted 30 teams. It was about stabilizing the teams he had, and we lost Panther City. Though we should never have lost Panther City. Because what I had heard was the Charlotte group was actually the Michael Jordan group, and he didn't want to be the principal investor. So they needed to get somebody over and above, and they couldn't. So why Detroit or something like that didn't come to the forefront, I don't know. But they should never have lost Panther City. And thank goodness they didn't lose Albany. And just like thank goodness they didn't lose Rochester with Seneca Nation stepping up. Because look at how many teams, how many players would be out of work. This would be a real problem.
Yeah.
We're already having that problem with Panther City shutting down, where we need expansion, but we need correct expansion. But some news out of the NLL, though, that's not to do with teams moving or folding or whatever, is that Rochester, the new and improved owned Rochester on their new 5-year lease, picked up Zed Williams from Colorado for a 10th and a 28th pick in this year's draft. They also gave up a 24th round pick. Let's have a look at the Rochester forwards, shall we? Connor Fields, Ryan Smith, Thomas McConvey, Zed Williams. I can keep going if you'd like.
Oh yeah, keep going.
It's a frightening group now, if it wasn't already. If you have a healthy back end and healthy goaltending, Do they just become a big player in this game?
Yeah, that's a massive trade.
so.
Really, they gave up
That was a huge
relatively
trade.
not
And they
much.
gave up nothing for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Kyle Waters, Curtis Knight, Austin Hazen, Turner Evans.
Yeah.
So
now your scratches are going to be as potent as your lineup.
Yeah.
And most importantly, and we've always been talking about this, especially with Rochester, depth. There's a lot of depth there. We also didn't talk about Brad McCulley, who's part of the Rochester team. And obviously, from the way he's playing in the summer, is rearing and ready to go with Rochester.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of players in there, which also means their transition game has gotten even stronger with McCulley in there as well as muscle with Tyler Biles and McCulley. So nobody's going to push him around either. So there's a lot of upside there. So again, I'm really glad to see that they're staying, because this is going to be exciting. This should be able to grow a fan base even more, because you're going to have a team that's right on the top, on the cusp of doing something really great for the first time in a number of years.
lose Gary there.
Well, it seems like it, yeah.
I'm back.
I mean, not hard to argue what he said, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm trying. They're I don't know. The powers that be are trying to censor me. Maybe Buffalo has a hold of my internet. But with all of that, and from where they started going, what is it, 1-15 the first year, or 1-17 or something like that the first year, to where they are now, and what Dan Carey has done as a GM, unbelievable. The turn that this franchise has made with the players and the depth of players, using the draft mostly, but also using smart decision trading and signings. All the tools in the toolbox. I had Steve Dietrich on the other show on Thursday, and we were talking about more than anything. It was one thing that we talked about, of course, the depth and the leadership they have on the team now after 3 championships, and down the pipe what's there as well. But we talked about when he took over in 2012. And it's one thing where he said, right now I can just put my feet up and it's running itself, because you've got Josh and Dane leading the way, kind of like Tavares was doing when Dane was drafted. But what Buffalo did back then, and they had no first round picks, and they really had an older team. They had no middle. They had young guys and old guys, no middle to we're going to go up and whatever. And he had to redo everything. But every time they finished last, they made it work. They finished last, they drafted Dane Smith. They finished last, and they drafted Josh Byrne. Well, that's your pieces now, isn't it? Down the road. But of course, again, getting that free agent that really, really put him over the edge, which is, of course, the signing of Matt Vince. And really, none of this happens without him. And it's only apropos that the name is Vino, right?
Yeah.
Because like a fine wine, as he's getting older, he's getting better. And unlike a lot of goalies, the only one that comes to mind really, maybe Dallas Elliott as well, but Bob Whipper-Watson. When it was on the line, you weren't scoring. When it's on the line against Matt Vince, he's damn near impossible to beat. Still, to this day. And as Chugger lovely says, he could probably still lift up a car if he wanted to now. He's in that good a shape at 42. So do you think he's coming back? Yes. And then, take a look in Orangeville at their goalie, Evan Konstantopoulos. And he's getting his reps in games that matter. So that when he steps in, these aren't, deer in the headlight moments. And he has the opportunity to get seasoned, because you have Matt Vince in there. You don't have to rush him up to the NLL and maybe get him there too soon. He gets gun shy after being peppered. And how many careers have been ruined that way? So that's another one that, it's not just, because we talk about, well, the team is going to get older and, eventually there's people in the pipe there. You've got Scanlon, you've got Wires, you've got all these other guys that are there chomping at the bit to come in, let alone what they're going to be drafting. And, with scouts like Dan Teat, they're going to find the right players. So it's about the front office. And guys like Scott Loeffler, who doesn't get the credit he deserves for building this up in the Buffalo area, putting it into schools and getting everybody excited that this is the hottest ticket in town all winter. Which with 18,000, 19,000 fans at every game affords them the luxury to be able to do things that other teams can't do and give that feeling of an NHL experience to these players, where in other places it's just we're playing lacrosse on a Friday night or a Saturday night. And that goes a long way as well. It was interesting. It's on YouTube, both on All Across All the Time and on mine at G Groob. Please give the show a listen. It was really interesting talking to Steve about so many different topics and so many different aspects of the game that you may not have thought about just watching. So that's why I love digging into, especially the guys who played for so many years. Because remember, Steve was the first one to really give notoriety to the goaltending position. He was the first ever to win the MVP award in 2006 as a goalie. And now fast forward to where we are now, and you have guys like Christian Del Bianco, like Matt Vince, that are there, winning these awards as well. But he was the leader in that one, in a time where goalies really didn't get that much recognition. So a little bit more news, I should have brought it up. I should have alluded to it in when we were talking about junior, is that from St. Catharines, Steve Toll is stepping down as the head coach of the St. Catharines Junior A Athletics. After 8 seasons head coach, he's moving on. He coached his son, and now it's time to sit back and want to be a dad. It's, moving on, stuff like that. Ian Rubel is part of that squad. Most likely he will take over the head coaching job there. Sorry, Pat. But I can see where Steve is going with this. Son's growing up. It's time to be a dad and time to enjoy some of the other things in there as well. Because it is time consuming. And as we have found out, when with coaching, as when we were talking with Alex Krepinsak, when you're a player, okay, you win, you lose. It's part of the game. When you're a coach, you win, that's all fine and good. When you lose, now the work starts. Right? So there's more time, more effort put in on the other side and more investment. So at a certain point, you have to pull away a little bit and family comes first, and there you go. So wish Steve Toll the best of luck in whatever he's going to be doing onward. One other little tidbit here, of course, is the Albany Firewolves statement about moving, and here we are. The Albany Firewolves, the National Cause, announced that the franchise will relocate to Oshawa, where the team will play its home games at the Tribute Community Center beginning this upcoming season. The Firewolves organization wishes to express its deepest gratitude to those who supported the team in Albany, especially our fans. We extend sincere thanks to Bob Bieber, general manager of MVP Arena, for his leadership and providing a first-class facility in which our team and fans could thrive. Also wish to acknowledge Albany County Executive Dan McCoy for his tireless efforts and continued support. We're especially grateful to all our corporate sponsors and community partners who stood by us. Most of all, we want to thank our fans, each and every one of you, for your passion, loyalty, and dedication. From the very beginning, your energy and enthusiasm made MVP Arena an exciting place for our players to compete. There were several challenges, both at the state and local level, that made economics of staying in Albany untenable, but which makes the decision bittersweet. This move represents both a new challenge and a tremendous opportunity, said CEO Oliver Marty. As the NLL continues to grow, we're excited to bring world-class lacrosse to Oshawa while enhancing regional rivalries. We also look forward to growing with our new community while never forgetting the fans and supporters who have been part of our journey in Albany. As we look ahead, we're excited to begin a new chapter in the Durham region of Ontario, where the Firewolves will proudly call home. The Tribute Community Centre, long recognized as one of the premier facilities in the Greater Toronto Area, is also home to the storied Oshawa Generals of the Ontario Hockey League. We are humbled to share the same floor with such an iconic franchise and eager to build a proud tradition of our own. The Firewolves are the NLL's youngest team, and we are thrilled to introduce our players, staff, and brand of physical lacrosse to fans across the Durham region. We will work tirelessly to earn the respect of the community and to create a team and game day experience that families, fans, and business can rally behind. And for further information, contact the Firewolves. So there you have it. It's official. All right, let's move along. President's Cup starts today, guys. And at the moment, we have the first game on the docket. We're after 2 periods right now, and it is 11-5 for the Ladner Pioneers over the Winnipeg Blizzard. Winnipeg is making a comeback because it was 10-1 the last time I looked. So, some big names over on the Ladner team, but not as big as it's been. You've got Cody Adamson, you've got Keegan Bell, you've got Spencer Bromley on the team, Ryan Jensen, Alex Bouquet in net. But it's not the powerhouse that it was, I think. So the door is open before the three-peat is in the books, shall we say. But tune in. The next game is at 1 o'clock, which is the Saskatchewan Roadrunners against the Edmonton Miners, which should be a nice, strong game there. Six Nations plays Snake Island at 4 o'clock. And really the game on the docket tonight after the opening ceremonies, which are slated for 6:30 today, is the Allegheny Arrows against the Brooklyn Merchants, which should be just an absolute slobber knocker to start this first day of events. Remember, there's 4 games a day every day at the President's Cup. You can catch the games live and free at JVI Sports on YouTube. JVI Sports. So you can catch any and all games for the President's Cup. You will not be disappointed. If you are in the Toronto or Whitby or East region or feel like driving, it is going to be an absolutely fantastic event. Town Brewery has got a beer garden and grilling place out in the front lawn. The Bar Down Bar is connected to the arena. There is another establishment inside the arena. It has the beautiful New York Riptide turf on the floor, which fits like a glove, by the way. Unbelievable. It's almost like it was made for that arena, the way it fits. And it is air conditioned. But a lovely, lovely spot that is. Very comfortable in there. And don't forget, it is a who's who of lacrosse royalty, both past, present, and future, that are roaming the halls there. So come on down and say hi. I will be there this afternoon in time for the Six Nations game at 4 o'clock. So looking forward to that. And I should be there through most of the games in this tourney. And of course, it culminates with the finals Saturday evening. So it's a busy, busy week, but you know what? It's great. Great lacrosse happening at all points. Why don't we? Oh, yeah, you're right. But you know what?
Yeah.
They've moved to a better situation because 5 more years there wasn't going to make it any better. That's the problem.
Financially, yeah.
Yeah. They have to think about the now. And instead of losing a team, which would be terrible, it's a good sign in a fresh market of already, like we've talked about many times, Shawn, we've talked about this a gazillion times, in places where we don't have to teach the game.
Yeah.
In Oshawa, you're not going to have to teach the game to the Durham region or the Clarington area. They are very well into the lacrosse game up to their necks box. So they will take this and run with it.
Yeah, it was just kind of, I think, at least to me, just how it was handled. We always heard the ramblings. We always heard the ramblings that, okay, maybe Albany's moving. Then we hear this new lease agreement, giving fans hope that, hey, look, they're gonna stay, just to get the carpet just kind of pulled from under them.
Well, I did a little bit of digging on that, and the out clause was because of the attendance.
Yeah.
If it didn't hit a certain level, they had an out clause in there, and that's exactly what they were using. So, you got to save one's neck, right? It's not just a hemorrhage money because
Yeah.
you want there.
Right.
It was just the transparency of it all, right? Like, yeah.
Oliver Marty's a New York guy.
Yeah.
And he understands it, but he's also a hedge fund owner and has money. But the reason why he has it is because he doesn't frivolously throw it away into a pot where it doesn't look like there's going to be any return on it at any point. The difference between Albany and Georgia is that Arlotta saw something there and stuck it out long enough that he's starting to reap the rewards of being there long enough that you have a base now. Whereas in Albany, on top of, like I mentioned, the arena is old. It's the same arena that the Attack played in. It's also in an area where there isn't a whole lot going on. And there was never any post game because the players stayed by the airport. So a lot of that fan experience that we talk about in all these places really wasn't there. And logistically really couldn't be there. So it's an unfortunate thing, but to be half full instead of half empty, it looks like it's going there. Rochester's going nowhere. They're in a 5-year agreement. Seneca Nation is part of the Rochester area. They're not moving from there. And Georgia isn't going anywhere either. Arlotta is locked
their
in.
Their attendance keeps increasing.
They're actually getting better there, yeah.
So, I mean, they win another championship, say, next year, and the roof will blow off that place.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm still not sold. But
that's I mean, he has a point there. He does have a point there.
Yeah.
With the economy, but yeah. So I mean, the pressure's on for Georgia.
Yeah.
It's been 8 years. Let's get another title.
Absolutely, and well, it is what it is, right? But they have a good team.
Yeah.
They have as much a chance, and they have great goaltending. And they have, Lyle Thompson, Shane Jackson. You have strong coaching with Eddie Como, Sean Ferris, Alex Krepensek. Andy, his name's escaping me now. But altogether, it's a very, very tight organization and has been there a long time together. So the chemistry is good. So if they can stay healthy, has been their biggest thing. And they're a big team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting because with no conferences, everybody's got to work for everything. Who would have expected Toronto to finish last or next to last year? They could very well do it again if they don't make the right moves and the right draft in this offseason. Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
When most of the players are from around here.
Yeah, and one of those moves could be trading one of their top 3 picks for a top right-handed forward to replace Tom Schreiber.
Yeah. I totally expect the 3rd pick to go. But, hey, that's just me. But who knows? That's up to Jamie and his crew, right? But, yeah, that's it in a nutshell, really. Alrighty. I'm going to do some WLA, Shawn. We had a champion.
We have a champion. I'll kind of maybe pose the question to you guys. When we went into this series, which goaltender did we think was going to steal the series?
We thought it was
It-
Christian Del Bianco.
Yeah, and it didn't really turn out that way.
not.
It was actually Frank Chiliano who really kind of stole this series. And so congratulations to the Salmon Bellies for the championship, and Chiliano named playoff MVP. I guess when we left off, New Westminster was up 2-1, heading into Monday for game 4. And this was kind of a pivotal game for Coquitlam, I thought. I thought if they can't get this one, I think they're going to have a tough hill to climb to really come back in this series. And New Westminster picked up the 8-6 win. And really, yeah, it's kind of all Salmon Bellies from start to finish on this one. Coquitlam outshot New Westminster 49-46, and Chiliano made 43 saves for the win. For the Salmon Bellies, Mitch Jones, a goal and 4 assists. He had 3 assists from Tyler Pace. He had a pair of goals from Hayden Dixon, 2 goals from Will Malcolm. For the Adnax, 2 goals and 2 assists from Clark Walter. Goal and 2 assists from Keen Moon. David Cherney with a pair of assists. Goal and assist from Adam Noakes. And Christian Del Bianco stopped 37 of 45 shots in the loss. So that put Coquitlam on the brink of elimination on Thursday. And again, Frank Chiliano holds Coquitlam to 3 goals for the 9-3 win to bring them to host, I guess, this year, the Man Cup. And again, New Westminster jumped out to a 4-0 lead right off the bat, and you almost saw a deflated Coquitlam team after that. Mitch Jones, again, a goal and 6 assists to lead the team. Hat trick by Phil Caputo. 2 goals and 3 assists from Tyler Pace. You had 2 goals from Will Malcolm. Ty Kurtz had 3 assists. You had 2 assists from Hayden Dixon. As mentioned, Chiliano stopped 35 of 37 shots in the win. For the Adnax, you had a goal in this. Basically, your goals came from Keen Moon, Clark Walter, and Adam Noakes. Short list. And Christian Del Bianco stopped 33 of 42 shots. So yeah, congratulations, New Westminster Salmon Bellies, in their championship and heading off to another Man Cup.
Yeah. So here's the question, of course, and it's coming. The 3 players that the West can grab from other places. Is Christian Del Bianco one of them? And what do they do with him? Do they put him as a backup? Do they sit Frankie down after such a great series and leading them to the Man Cup? How does this, or do you leave the best goalie in the league in the NLL off and pick up 3 other players?
And that's a great question because, I mean, you just saw Chiliano outduel Del Bianco when it counted. And, I mean, to that point, I mean, again, Frank Chiliano is also the reigning NLL goaltender of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a hell of a 1-2 punch with Del Bianco and Frank Chiliano, is it not? I mean...
Well, yeah, exactly. That's my point, is you are going to be rewarded by being benched, or do you continue to play, and then if something doesn't go right, then you shoulder all the blame? And
I almost feel like if you do pick up Del Bianco, I think you start with Chiliano at least, and at least know that, he has that short leash that if things are just not going right, you have a world-class goaltender right behind him.
is that the pressure he doesn't need, though? That's the other point.
Yeah.
There's no winning in this thing. I hate this 3-player thing. I really do. because it doesn't reward the guys who got you there. And I understand.
Or do you look, or do you just look elsewhere, or do you just look elsewhere and just leave the goaltending situation the way it is?
Personally, I think that would be a smarter idea. But then, what do you do for your forwards, defense, or transition? Who are you sitting? They got you there. That you're saying, well, you're not good enough. Sorry, but you're good enough to get us to the Mann Cup. I think you go with the team you got. Myself, even though it's at your disposal.
And you have to remember too, the Sound Belly signed Owen Grant, even though he had his rights to the PLL, because now that the Cannons are out, he's going to be available for Mann Cup. So they're bringing in Owen Grant as well.
Right. So, you know, we have all kinds of things going on there. But again, that looming thing, which, you know, was the big rain cloud in last year's Mann Cup. And it turned out to be, you know, really a non-entity. And they only used 2 of the guys, right?
Yeah, I think
so,
they had
yeah.
Will Malcolm and Mike Messenger, and Messenger probably made more of an impact in the Mann Cup last year than Malcolm did.
Yeah,
I agree, 100%.
Well, I guess you just have to use it strategically. Just kind of looking at what the MSL series look like. Let's face it, you're probably looking at Six Nations. Where can you strengthen your team, knowing that you're probably going to be facing a juggernaut like Six Nations?
Yeah, and I was going to say
Whether that's forward or defense,
one spot where you may not have to is at the face-off dot. I mean, they have Tyrell Hamer-Jackson.
And he's been playing well too.
He's had a phenomenal summer. I mean, I can't think of anyone from any other WLA team off the top of my head who would I want to have taken face-offs at this point.
Yeah, I agree. So do we use them or don't we use them?
I mean, I think the general manager is going to have to be extremely picky. And he's going to have to balance all of this.
I think you got to use them just again because you're looking at a very, very, very deep Six Nations team that you're going to have to add, I think, a bit more depth than what you've got in the West. Not to say they don't have depth, but nothing compared to what Six Nations has. Yeah,
it's unfortunate the way it is there because short of putting together the secondary All-Star team, the scratches that Six Nations comes up with is good enough to be beating 90% of the teams that are out there. Let's even go with the team that Six Nations has, probably better than 85% of the NLL teams that are out there. Frightening, but
yeah.
But then it shows you just how good players like Ryan Smith are. That on a team with that much talent can still score 3 or 4 goals every game. We're guys who you already knew they were great, but now it just brings it to a whole different thing. Yeah, I agree with you, Kathy. I agree 1,000%.
Yeah.
You don't want dissension in the ranks. You don't want guys feeling as though they got left off because they put everything they had in at getting there. But congratulations to New West, who we never really put into the equation. We talked about the Shamrocks. We talked about Coquitlam, and they were always the afterthought of, well, they could win. Well, they did win. So now we get the storied arena, and let's see. We're already putting Six Nations in there. Now, they brought up an interesting stat on yesterday's game, Stamper did, and that was 2016. And Peterborough was up 3-0. And Six Nations came back with 4 wins, including an 8-1 drubbing that changed the entire complexion of the series. And I believe Six Nations went on to win the Mann Cup that year. But interestingly enough, it has happened. Now, fast forward ourselves into last night, and they Lakers were up against it. They're down 3-0. And things aren't looking really good because really it had been that Six Nations was basically playing with their food. Dane Smith had been running wild. Just absolutely running wild. No answers for him. Even when you thought you had answers, he changed the question. Scoring 5, 6, 9 points in a game. Josh Byrne had woken up, who really wasn't doing much this summer, but all of a sudden is there both scoring and feeding. Shane Jackson for Six Nations has also woken up and has been a force to the side of the net. And, it's scary when you look at all these things working at top peak. Enter Six Nations Peterborough from last night. Backs against the wall. And what's the greatest thing that can happen to a team when you really need some oomph? You get quick goals. That didn't happen last night. Josh Byrne scored 33 seconds into the game, and you're thinking right away going, this could get ugly fast. And it was a transition goal on a really nice pass from Justin Martin. But not 3 minutes later, Thomas Hogarth tied this thing up on a really nice pickup of a rebound off a Mike Robinson shot. Joe Resetaritz fired an absolute howitzer from his offside that beat Doug Jamieson, and Peterborough was up 2-1. Shane Jackson scored from exactly where you expect him to score, and it was 2-2. Matt Gilray, he added a goal in transition off of Braden Sarah's pass, and it was now 3-2. Dawson Theed, we haven't talked much about him. He tied the game up, and we're only, 12 minutes into this game, 13 minutes into this game. But here comes the big thing, and this was always in the back of my mind. When does Six Nations unravel and start taking stupid penalties? Well, it turned out to be with a couple of minutes left in the first period. And they were down 2 men. 3 really, but down 2 men. And Resetaritz scores on a 2-man advantage with about 2:36 left in the period. Followed by Tate Katoni, also on a 2-man advantage just 20 seconds later. And Peterborough has a 2-goal lead heading into the intermission. I believe this was the first period in this series that Peterborough was leading. Can't win many series like that, can you?
No.
Now, 40 seconds into the second period, and Thomas Hogarth scores. Not bad. That's exactly what they needed. So now they're up by 3. Ryan Smith scores. And 5 minutes into the game, into the second period, and it's now just a 2-goal advantage. Braden Sarah scores again on the power play again. Off of Joe Resetaritz pass, another beauty low-to-low shot. Ryan Smith comes back again from in front where he's camped. Off of Cody Jamieson pass, beauty. And we're back to a 2-goal game. Sarah scores again, this time off a Mike Robinson pass. And again, it was another outside shot that just absolutely pinged the corner. Dawson Theed comes back, and Shane Jackson scores on the power play. And we're down to a 1-goal game and starting to get interesting again. Mitch Ogilvie scores shorthanded. This is huge. With 3 minutes left in the period, off a Robert Hope pass from in close, just an absolute gorgeous goal to the top corner, one you wouldn't have expected from him. Everybody has to step up if you're going to stay alive in this series. As Kathy mentioned, Peterborough has a huge mountain to climb. We're into the last period. Now, this is the one that gets me a little bit concerned. Is Peterborough, first of all, they've got 9 goals on Six Nations, which not a lot of people have done this year. They're up 9-7. Ryan Smith scores about halfway through the period. This is back and forth, and both goalies are doing their best. By the way, Drew Hutchison was in net for Peterborough, not Nick Rose. So we're at a 1-goal game. Peterborough is able to withstand all the pressure and all the other stuff and hold on. But the concerning thing to me is that Peterborough didn't score at all in the third. 9-8 is your final. Peterborough wins game 4, forces game 5 tomorrow night in Six Nations at 8 p.m., which will be on the Daryl Smart Media YouTube page, free. But let me put it to the panel here. Peterborough wins. Yes, Peterborough looked better here in this game than any of the other games. But for the better part of, let's say, 28 minutes, so almost half a game, they did not score. And in that time, sorry, they had 1 goal. My mistake. They had 1 goal. At the end of the game, yes. Were there any penalties at the end of the game? Yes, it got a little messy at the end of the game. The messages were being sent. Dawson Theed and Cody Jamieson with roughing and taunting penalties. Jake Withers, Robert Hope, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting for Jake Withers, roughing for Robert Hope. There were rumors that there were other penalties called which would have suspensions involved with them, but nothing was put on the score sheet. So there's been a lot of speculation. I don't know what the commissioner's office is doing. If I happen to see Lynn Withers over at the Iroquois Park Arena, I will ask. But nothing was put on the score sheet about anything being major or match in any of the stuff that was going on. What was rumored was Dawson Theed with a face masking penalty, ripping off Robert Hope's helmet, but that never even made it on there for anything other than a 2-minute roughing penalty. So nothing has been placed on it officially, but you know the MSL. Very, 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 very transparent.
Don't wait till about 2 hours before game time.
Why wait 2 hours when you can wait 15 minutes before? You know? As I've said in games and in shows past, when asked for a comment, the MSL was known to go. We're still there. We're still so not quite sure what's going on with that, but if I am able to ask, I will, and we'll see what happens there. If I have anything of any concrete substance, I will post. So have no fear, folks. As we know it, we will tell you. We are your Costco of lacrosse, your source for all answers that we can possibly get. Yes, exactly. But question to the panel again. Is this concerning that Peterborough got 1 goal in 28 minutes coming down in a game where everything was on the line? Mike?
I'd say so. That's almost half the game to get just 1 goal.
Yeah, and it was by 2 defensemen,
yeah.
1 goal shorthanded in transition.
Yeah, I mean, we can't talk about all the fourth quarter woes we've seen in the PLL this season, you know, where teams were going silent in the fourth quarter at a 25% rate for the whole season and not apply the same logic to major series or WLA for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shawn, what do you think?
Yeah, again, you never apologize for a win, but at the same point, yeah, it is concerning. And you look at who the opponent is in Six Nations, you talk about that comeback in the series. That's hard to fathom that Peterborough could, win basically 4 straight on a team like Six Nations that's so deep like that. And yeah, like you mentioned, the fact that your game-winning goal, for instance, was a shorthanded goal. and then just to go silent in the third, it's concerning. Yeah, especially against the Chiefs, where they can just go off on you at any moment.
A couple of points in this also is that Six Nations badly outshot Peterborough. It was 55-41 in this game. The other point is, and this is a point for Peterborough, is that Six Nations altogether all year have lost 3 games. All 3 have been to the Lakers. Do they have their number?
No, I mean, they've won, 4 games against them now? So I don't know that it's as lopsided as it looks.
I'm wondering too, do you ride Drew Hutchison now?
I'm thinking yes, myself.
You might have to.
I think he's just more agile, to tell you the truth. But I've seen Nick Rose at his best. I've seen Nick Rose at his not best, and I don't know if they can afford a night where he's at his not best.
I guess that's why I bring it up, because I mean, there's no doubt Rose is a great goaltender, but
I don't think Peterborough's on
Drew Hutchison has been proven here that, I mean, Rose has been struggling against Six Nations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's that too. I liked the moves that Peterborough made during the year, getting Braden Saris, Justin Sykes, and a number of the younger kids that came up. I do like, but when you're talking about Six Nations, who is the creme de la creme, really, and are guys that it's not that you just threw a bunch of all-stars together and they're going to try and figure out how to play against each other or play with each other. You have 5 Buffalo Bandits on there. They obviously know each other. You have a couple of Georgia Swarm together on offense. They obviously know each other. You have 3 Toronto Rock players. They obviously know each other. All of these guys have played together, whether it be on Team Canada or Team Haudenosaunee. They know each other. They're pretty apt to each other's tendencies, as seen by the way they fire things around and know where everybody is at all times. But it never hurts when you have McKay, Smith, and Byrne as your offensive unit, where in their sleep they know where each other are. And you have a defense from Peterborough who gets together once a year, going to try and figure out what they're thinking. That gets scary. But a true David and Goliath story, if it actually comes to fruition, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But we'll know more tomorrow. 8 o'clock, Daryl Smart Media on YouTube, if you can't make it to the Six Nations area. But it should be a great time. Great chicken wraps. Right, Mike?
You know better than I.
I do.
I'll get out there someday.
I do. We take them to go to, it's a long ride home. We're a little messy, though. You got to make sure you have a bib. Maybe a knife.
Wouldn't that be something? You get me out there and I order something other than a chicken wrap.
Yeah.
They have
It'd be
hamburgers.
disappointing.
It will not be reported on this podcast.
I would be sad, but the French fries there are to die for also.
Oh, okay. All right. You got me now. Plans for next year.
There you go. Well, if they keep the team together, Mike, I've already okayed it with your wife for your anniversary to make it up here. So you just have to, drive the car. The decision's been made. That's how longevity happens in marriages. Trust me. She makes me sometimes think I've made the decision. That didn't happen. But anyways, so that's going to be an exciting thing. And of course, you have New West sitting there resting, waiting for whomever will be flying out west so that the Man Cup can start in the first week of September. Which, by the way, is the same time as, and of course I'm a fan of this one too, is the Mentioner Cup, which is out in Prague, in Radicin, which is the second big tournament of those Rabeski and that. In fact, a lot of the invitations for the remaining spots, the first 15 of last year get an automatic invite. The next 9 have to get invited. A lot has to do with if you're in the Mentioner Cup and are a good showing there. So it is an important tournament for teams that want to do the Rabeski tournament. One other thing before we call it a day here is that the Founders Cup is also going on as we speak. And we have some pretty amazing things going right now. Coquitlam is 4-0. Queen City from Saskatchewan is 2-2. The Calgary Shamrocks are 2-3, and St. John Rapids are 1-4 in Pool A. In Pool B, the Kanawaki Hunters, those same Kanawaki Hunters that beat Alora and beat the Gales, are 4-0. The Seneca War Chief, by the way, they have Brett Bucktooth and Brandon Francis as their coaches. A pretty good coaching squad. The Seneca War Chiefs are 2-2. The Mountain View Mavericks from Alberta, 2-3. And the Nova Scotia Privateers are at 1-4. The game that I have circled on my docket for today is actually going off at 1 o'clock Eastern. So in about 2 hours, about 40 minutes time. And that is the Coquitlam Adanacs at 4-0 against the Kanawaki Hunters at 4-0. This will be a slobber knocker. This will probably be the final down the road. So just to give you a preview. If you go on to the Founders Cup site, there is a live stream that you can click on. BC Sports TV YouTube, I believe, is the one that has it. So you can click on to it and watch the game. So lots of things to watch. Hunters, I agree. Go Hunters. I think we're pretty much all in agreement, except maybe Shawn, who's got
go Queen City. Yeah.
there you go. Gotta get the Saskatchewan. But that is the week that was, and what a week it was. We had news in everything. Now, free agency is supposed to open up this week. We haven't heard anything that will discount that, but then again, we haven't heard any news that a CBA has come to an agreement. So let's hope that we have free agency, because in a week and a half, we have a draft. So really don't want to see it all get pushed back. So stay with us. We will have everything for you as it happens. The news is always changing, and we have our thumbs on the pulse of the situation. Remember, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Thread. And you can find us on YouTube, as well as on our website at www.streampunkentertainment.com. Of course, into the lacrosse category. And please come back 3, 4, 5 times a day, because, again, the news is always changing, and we have everything up to the minute. We are constantly, texting and moving with all of our sources to get things as concrete and as true as humanly possible for you. When we tell you it, you can rely on it. That brings us to last words. Shawn, let's start with you this week. Last words to you.
Yeah, looking forward to the Man Cup starting up here right away. I mean, could you have a better setting than Queen's Park Arena, a storied arena like that? And they're going to be packed in that for the Man Cup, and just looking forward to seeing what happens out of MSL as well. I mean, would I like to see Peterborough make a comeback? Yeah, for sure. But they definitely have an uphill battle ahead of them.
Absolutely. Mike, last words to you.
I'm going to go to PLL. I mean, we'll be on before the next set of playoff games, but two big ones, Water Dogs Atlas and then Outlaws Redwoods. I think we're in for a good pair of semifinal games.
Absolutely. Me personally, well, like I say, the President's Cup has already started, and really looking forward to heading out there a little bit later in the day. And I will be there each and every day of this tournament for most of the days. Looking forward to seeing some just absolutely phenomenal Senior B Lacrosse, and looking forward to. I'm honest. I'm looking forward to a rematch of Six Nations and Brooklyn. To tell you the truth, I think that the series that we just had, I don't think gave us everything. But I think in the President's Cup, if something really is on the line now, we're going to see it. So this should be just an absolute barn burner, let alone Allegheny today against Brooklyn should be absolutely spectacular. So if you're in the area, again, $20 tickets for the entire day, 15 for students, free if you're retired. And it's definitely worth your time and your money to support some absolutely phenomenal lacrosse. Anyways, that'll wrap us up for this week. Thank you for coming early with Breakfast with the Boys. And next week, we're back to our regular time of 8 p.m. on Sunday evening. And thank you so much, Kathy, for jumping in with us. Appreciate it. And until next week, remember, keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher. Have a great week, everybody. Tune in to some of this lacrosse or go see it if you can. Until then, have a great week.